In this video, you're going to learn the number one wealth habit that very few people know about. Listen carefully from beginning to end. God willing, your life will completely change. First, listen to this story to incorporate concepts that you will turn into practical tools for your life and your success. God willing. Marriage. Life. Very happy, but at the same time, financially a little difficult. Always zero in the bank, no debts or profits, 20 years of mortgage at zero, no debts or profits. One night, the husband comes home from work as usual. Suddenly, he arrives and smells something. The smell of food, aromas of a very special meal, aromas oriental food, something very special. His wife is waiting for him, candles. Candles, and she says the kids are at their grandparents' place. Today I made a very special dinner for us to celebrate together and thank God for a very special day in our lives. The man says, how joyful, he thanked her. Impressive, thank you. How exciting. He was moved. The sons and daughters were the grandparents, and he talked with his wife. Impressive, a beautiful dinner. She prepared his favorite foods, telling him, I made this and that for you, your favorites. Impressive. Now the husband feels a little embarrassed, but he wants to say there's something he doesn't know, something he didn't know how to ask his wife. And he said to her, look, I'm going to tell you, I understand, I realize that today you didn't understand. Why such a celebration? The celebration is because today, after 20 years of having zero in the bank, we now have more. 2,000 in the green, 2,000 in the green, 2,000 in the green. How? Yes, we finished paying the last installment of the mortgage last month, and today our salaries went into the green, not for the mortgage. The husband jumped for joy. They started praising God, an incredible happiness. 20 years at zero. They always had to be careful not to go over or into the red. Amazing, such joy, an incredible happiness. Second marriage. These parallel stories. In the residential neighborhood of the same city, a very good marriage, a very good bond between them. With great economic power and millions in the bank, they lacked nothing. The woman decides to prepare a surprise dinner for her husband. Why? Because that afternoon, the husband had a meeting with a chief executive officer with a manager from a company in the United States. Manager and owner of an impressive multinational company from the United States who had to close certain deals with some companies in the country where they lived. And one of those meetings was with her husband, who was also someone very strong financially, and today they were going to close a contract. Simply sign, talk at a restaurant, sign. And the wife, to cheer up her husband, also prepared him a dinner, a scene. Very special, with his favorite food. Now, what happened? Unlike in the first story, the husband arrives with a pale, sad face. Well, the wife sees him. Thank God, there's a very good bond between them. She asked him, what happened? Was the contract canceled? Did something happen to you? No, the contract... Everything was fine. Excellent person. But I want to go to sleep. I want to go to sleep. The lady says to him, look, I understand that you're not... I don't understand what happened to you. I'd like you to tell me. But I prepared the dinner for us to talk and celebrate. We thank God for the new contract, that this will give us much more dividends and help other families. They were a family that helped other families. They were also an excellent family, billionaires who helped many families. And he said, look, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you very much. I can smell the aromas of my favorite food, but I don't have the strength to sit down and eat. I just want to go straight to bed. The wife, obviously, with a lot of understanding and knowing that he was going through something difficult, didn't know what to say. Look, if it's okay with you, I'm going to make myself some tea and go to bed with you. To sit next to you? And I want you to tell me what happened to you. I want to have some tea. I feel like reading a book, so if it's okay with you, I want to keep you company so you don't have to read a book alone. Drink my tea. Tell me if you want. The husband, with a lot of love in his eyes, but also a very heavy heart, said, thank you so much, that's fine. I think that's good. Do you want a glass of water? No, not even that. I don't even have the strength to drink water. So, the wife makes herself some tea and takes the book she wanted to read. She sat by her husband's bed as he lay down. He took a deep breath. His face looked pale, with a lot of concern, a heavy burden. On a spiritual level, the Nefesh was deeply burdened, a very heavy soul. After a few minutes, his wife saw it was time to ask him and said, do you want to tell me what happened to you? Yes, I'll tell you, but you should know that what I'm going to tell you makes me very embarrassed. I know that what's happening to me isn't right. It makes me very embarrassed. But it just happens to me. I can't control it. I don't know what to do. I want to change, but I don't know what to do, he says. Please tell me. And then her husband opens his mouth and says, look, I arrived at the restaurant with my driver to close the deal. And suddenly I see a giant limousine with an entourage of cars, vehicles, and motorcycles guarding the limousine. It was the great chief executive officer and manager, man from the United States, who arrived, and everyone gave him honors. And everyone praised him, and he was a person. He showed great empathy and was clearly an excellent, well-liked person. And people would ask him things, and he had an advisor for this, an advisor for that. He was talking on the phone. It was impressive. An entourage, even police officers, protecting him as if he were the president of the United States. And he spoke with me very well. Excellent. In a few minutes, he had other meetings to attend. And he mentioned in passing that he came in his private jet, and he told me about his multinational company. How many projects does he have and how many? Hatsim and Lassi from Nebrego told me. So, when you add the millions he makes here, there, and the billions elsewhere, obviously, someone excellent, not to show off or be proud. He told me, he opened his heart to me and told me as if I were his best friend. You could also tell he was someone, a very special person, a very humble person too, who talked about what he had as if it were something natural. And his wife looks at him and says, yes, I'm listening. What's the problem? The husband says to her, envy. I can't deal with envy. I feel very ashamed. I know it's not right. I know we have everything and much more than we need. People love me. Everything is fine. But I saw him in everything. My Armon, that's the Hebrew word. My whole house of cards collapsed. Everything I have feels worthless, like I'm a beggar. That's how I feel, like I'm a beggar. That's how I feel. What can I do? I don't want that. I ask God to help me not feel this way. And I see our bond and I see how you prepared me. And I know it. I'm very ashamed. I'm very ashamed, but I can't get over it. I can't get over it. I can't get over it. It's a problem. All right, now I put 3 dots. And I want to talk about the number 1 habit for wealth, which is... I'm asking you first, what is it? Which ones? Reflect. I'll give you a few seconds. Reflect. Both stories. The first story, the joy of finally having a positive balance at the bank after 20 years of being at 0. Second story, the sadness and frustration of not having what others have, envy. What is the first habit for wealth? I'm going to tell you an amazing secret. The habit is, if it's in Hebrew, who is the rich person? Therefore, here you have to understand that being rich is not something absolute. It's not something absolute. It's a matter of perspective, of life, of worldview. In Hebrew, the word for joy is besimha, and the word for thought is mashava. They have the same letters, besimha, mashava. What does it mean? If your thought is a correct, orderly thought, that is, you are fulfilling your purpose in life, doing God's will, knowing that everything you have is from God's hand. Metaphorically speaking, obviously. God provides exactly what you need, even in the smallest details, and is always with you, loving and supporting you. And what you have is what you need, and you're happy with what you have. No one is happier or wealthier than you. How much you have in the bank doesn't matter. Like the first example, they understood what a blessing it was to be in the green, but they could have not been in the green. That's an example. They could have not been in the green. But on the other hand, of the second example, millions in the bank and a new contract, but suddenly it all falls apart. Why? It's all about envy. That's the Mishnah's focus. What does envy do? About 2,000 years ago, Jewish wisdom said that envy takes a person out of this world. What does kinasis mean? In Hebrew, kina, envy. Whatever they have, it consumes them inside. Their bones, envy. It rots them from the inside. It's something negative, very negative. Therefore, to sum up here, we see how important it is to feel grateful for everything that God gives us at every moment, with absolute divine kindness. In fact, we Jews say when we wake up, to the Eternal One who returned my soul with compassion. It goes on a tile, we thank God, but they are not who gave us our soul again after we slept. And great is the emunah, great is God's faith in me, Rabba emunah teja, great is your emunah, your faith in God for me. God trusts you and loves you and knows that you can do it. But we say Modeh Ani, first I say Modeh, I say thank you, then I say Ani, I don't say I thank. And here is an amazing secret, I give thanks. First I say, who is the center, God or me? God, I give thanks, then come after. I'm very important, but for what? To greet God's will in every way. Thank you, me. And there we go. First I give thanks and then myself. We must first learn to live with gratitude, men and women alike. The first habit of wealth. That will make you instantly rich. You don't need to have 100,000 or 1,000 or 1,000,000. No, you don't have to wait to have what someone else has. The other person might have millions and be successful, which could be good or bad for him. We don't know, but we have to understand that God basically manifests himself and directs this world with supervision down to the smallest detail for the good of each one of us. Therefore, it may be good for someone to have millions, or it may not be good, but in fact, what you have is the best for you. Having more can be very negative, and having less can be as well. Obviously, one should aspire to be well, And to improve, of course, but not from a place of, oh, he got so much, he has. And on the outside, you see how much someone earns or how much they have, and you want what that person has. And I'm far from that, and I want to have what he has. What does it mean? Our sages say someone with 100 wants 200, and with 200, he wants 400. God created us with a desire for more. That's very good, but we have to take that and direct it toward doing God's will and having material possessions. What for? To serve God, to help others more, to have a more comfortable, happier life. Of course, always to serve God, help others, and be happy. Yes, but not because of what the other person has. No, not that. That's envy, that's negative. That's the first habit of poverty. The first habit of wealth is to be happy with what you have. He's happy with what he has. We always give credit for thanking God for everything he gives us. You even have to make a list. Think about it every day. Thank you for this, for the clothes, for the food, for the house, for everything, for the relationships, for everything. To be thankful, to get used to being thankful. Thank you, God, for this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that also on an internal level will help you be happier, to feel grateful. Not everything is obvious and you always want more, right? Everything is like a big novelty. Thank God I have water to drink, thank you. We bless the Jews before and after drinking water and before and after eating constantly. In constant gratitude to God, we have the merit of always living life this way. In constant gratitude to God, the Creator, the Almighty. Live connected to God, doing His will joyfully and wholeheartedly for success and blessing. For all success and blessings.